Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. The topic of my presentation today will be the revision of the European Directive on port reception facilities. But before going to my presentation, let me very briefly present my organization. The European Sea Ports Organization, ESPO, is the voice of the European port authorities. It's a Brussels-based organization representing the interests of the European port authorities, and it's also a knowledge group. In ESPO we are running also the so-called EcoPorts network, which is an initiative started 21 years ago. Now we have 90 members in the EcoPorts network, and one of the tools we provide is the only port-specific environmental management standard in the market, the so-called PERS. We're trying to incentivize more action by our members, by providing a good reputation, by giving visibility and credit to the front runners. In the EcoPorts network, we were able also to collect answers from our members regarding their concerns, their priorities. This is the top 10 list of the European, of the environmental priorities of the European port for 2017. And as you can see, ship waste is among the top 10 priorities. As I mentioned, the topic of my presentation will be the port reception facilities, but many people ask me often what PRF stands for, what this name is about. In fact, it's about the delivery and the handling of the ship waste onshore. The current law was introduced 18 years ago, in 2000. And the revision process has started in 2015. We had an active role as ESPO, and many European ports also participated in the consultation process. There was a special consultation group run by the European Commission who ascertained different options for the revision of the directive. There, ESPO co-chaired the group and contributed to this process by giving input, by giving figures, and by representing also the interests of the ports. The main objectives of the revision of the PRF directive is to further tackle the sea-based sources of marine litter, to increase the efficiency of the directive, to decrease the administrative burden for ships and ports, to fully apply the polluter pays principle, which is already one of the main principles. In fact, it's the cornerstone of the EU waste policy for land-based sources. But what we say as ESPO is that we need not only efficient but responsible management of the ship waste onshore. What is the current situation? What is laid down by the current directive? The current directive covers waste types of MARPOL, Annex 1 to Annex 5, oily waste, sewage and garbage, plus cargo residues. The ports under MARPOL and under the EU law, under the PRF directive, provide with waste with port reception facilities. What that means? That the ports provide with facilities for types and quantities of waste from ships that usually call at this port. This is one of the elements especially regulated by the EU law. The criterion when the port has to provide with the facilities. This is not regulated by MARPOL. The other important element regulated by the EU law is the fee system. The fee system that has to provide with incentives to ships in order to discharge waste onshore and not at sea. Part of this system, the current fee system, is the so-called flat fee at the level of 30% of the overall fee of the ports, meaning that the ships will pay part of the fee when they call at the port, whether they deliver or not waste, or irrespective of the quantities of the waste they deliver. 30% is charged anyway, and the rest is charged on the basis of the quantities that are delivered. The new proposal, which was published by the European Commission in January, is aiming to further align the EU law with the Marpol regime, meaning that it aims to introduce the same delivery obligation for ships. Under the current law, the ships have to deliver all waste generated between two port calls. This is the reading of the European Commission, and there is a discrepancy between what is provided in the EU law and what is provided in Marpol. In Marpol, there are special norms, especially for sewage, when sewage can be lawfully discharged at sea. The new proposal aligns the two systems and deals with the discrepancies between the two regimes. Whatever is lawfully discharged at sea under Marpol will be lawfully discharged at sea under the EU law. Moreover, there is an alignment of the definition of waste and the introduction in the EU law of Annex 6 waste as well, meaning scrubber-generated waste and ozone-depleting substances. And furthermore, the new proposal aligns also the forms, the waste notification and the waste receipt. The waste notification is already used under the EU law, but the forms are aligned, so the ships will be able to use the same forms internationally and in the EU. What is also new is that for Annex 5 waste, for garbage, the 30% flat fee will go up to 100%. This will apply to up to Annex 5 garbage and to passively fished waste. This means that ships will pay the same fee, whatever they deliver at port. But this new proposal comes without quantity limits, which means that the ships will be able to deliver whatever they want. We say that it's not reasonable not to have limits in place, quantity limits in place. The very norm of the directive is that we follow the rules of Marpol when it comes to delivery obligation and discharge at sea, but waste has to be delivered between two port calls. So we need quantity limits. We need to avoid a situation where we'll end up as ports dealing with unreasonable amounts of waste. Dangerous waste is also included under the flat fee, which also doesn't make a lot of sense because it's quite costly for ports to treat and handle dangerous waste as paints, some types of cargo residues, etc. And last but not least, we have also the 24/7 service. It won't be also reasonable to charge the same when waste is delivered outside the normal working hours. The new proposal also is introducing the green SEA concept, an obligation for ports to offer green rebates. We firmly oppose this proposal. we need to rely and trust the already existing bottom-up initiatives and give flexibility to ports to offer themselves, decide themselves whether they want to offer green rebates. As a matter of fact, we know that in EcoPorts, almost one in two members already offer green rebates. The current directive has delivered. The waste gap has increased significantly. When you look at the oil waste, for example, the waste gap is around 2.5%, and this is a figure coming from the European Commission impact assessment study. We need to deal also with, as I said, with the problem of unreasonable amount of waste delivered in some ports. The discussion about adequacy and the provision of facilities in ports has to be evidence-based. We need feedback from the port users in order to facilitate and to offer good services. When it comes also to facilities for sewage, it's also crucial to see the role of the municipalities, which are responsible often for building the infrastructure. When it comes to the fee system, we support a fair, transparent and non-discriminatory system which will be clearly communicated to the port users, but we need quantity limits when it comes to the 100% indirect fee for garbage, and we need to use and trust bottom-up initiatives when it comes to green rebates. When it comes to the exemptions, there are new definitions in the directive, but we need also to rely more on guidance and soft law. As regards the inclusion of new waste types such as the scrubber waste, it's very positive that scrubber waste is under the direct fee system. And in general, we say we support the proposal. We see it as a positive step forward. We will contribute to the legislative process that has started in the European Parliament and in the Council. The current proposal, the current law has delivered. We have limited the amount of waste that has been discharged at sea. The waste gap has been limited significantly over the course of the last 17 years, but we need also to focus on the real problems and to propose real solutions. Thank you for your attention.